Holy crap. The Steelers actually made a move, and I'm going to talk about it here on No Buts About It. What is going on, guys? My name is Chus, or Chris, whatever you want to call me, but I'm here on No Buts About It, here to drop the biggest bomb of the evening. Now, there might be some other big bombs that have gone on. Josh Allen just got extended. Myles Garrett got extended earlier today. But one thing that's big for me, because I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, is none other than the elephant in the room, the big situation that occurred, DK Metcalf getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the reason that this is such a big move for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization is because one of the biggest woes that Steelers fans and just fans in general that enjoy the NFL were complaining about with the Steelers organization was that the Steelers needed a wide receiver too. And although George Pickens is a solid wide receiver one, he needs some help. And the wide receiver room that the Steelers have had has not been cutting it recently. So with this trade happening, it's pretty big considering the Pittsburgh Steelers have been kind of all over the place with the wide receivers, and now they have finally landed their big time wide receiver. So if you haven't heard the news already, DK Metcalf, the 27-year-old standout wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, has just been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the compensation is a second-round pick this year from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are also flipping picks in the 6th and 7th rounds as well, it appears, and that is going to be the big compensation for the Seattle Seahawks, giving away one of their top wide receivers. Now, the Seattle Seahawks have been all over the place this week. They traded away Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett was released, and DK Metcalf also requested a trade. It was just a matter of time to see where DK Metcalf would end up going, and sure enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been desperately looking for a wide receiver, have finally landed their big primetime all-star wide receiver to be on the same field with their young and upcoming wide receiver being George Pickens. And honestly, I think DK Metcalf being with George Pickens is going to be so beneficial for him this season and going forward into multiple more seasons, because not only is DK Metcalf here, but he also signed an extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so the contract extension. The contract extension fully is 5 years, $150 million. DK Metcalf, coming in with his final contract from Seattle, is getting a 4-year, $132 million extension from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that, because the contract total itself is 5 years, $150 million, but the extension itself is 4 years, $132 million, which just happens to be the biggest contract in Steelers franchise history. That is a pretty crazy detail, crazy concept for any Steelers fan, for literally anybody to even consider. The Steelers are literally investing this much into DK Metcalf, this all-star wide receiver. And now he will be alongside with George Pickens, a young wide receiver. It's going to open up the field, hopefully, for George Pickens. DK Metcalf and George Pickens both being on the field, both being wide receiver threats, is going to be lethal. It's going to be dangerous. But the problem that, although it's great that DK is here, the extension is crazy. I didn't expect it. It's a high-paid contract. I mean, I get it. It's going to be a lot of money. But the one thing that is still on my mind, regardless of how crazy cool this signing is, because I really wanted this last year and I can't believe it's actually happening now, but who is going to throw to DK Metcalf? Now, this video isn't supposed to be explaining what the Pittsburgh Steelers should be doing about their quarterback situation and the quarterback room and whatnot. This is supposed to be about how monumental this trade is for the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting DK Metcalf, that all-star wide receiver that everybody in Pittsburgh has been desperately asking for the last couple of years, to help George Pickens, who has had such a crazy workload, such a talented wide receiver. He just needs the help. He just needs some help. Somebody, please, Omar Khan, if you can hear this, just make the move. Finally, he heard us, and the fans are ecstatic. We're happy. However, the elephant still stands in the room. We have no quarterback. As I'm making this video, it is 8:40, March 9th, 2025. So if you're watching this like 3 weeks later and we have a quarterback that's like crazy, if it's Joe Burrow, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you gotta like understand here. As of right now, we don't have a quarterback. Justin Fields already rejected our offer. Justin Fields is testing free agency. I'm assuming he's gonna probably go to the Jets. He's probably gonna get $25 million a year, which is going to be awesome for him. I'm really excited for him. I'm sure Stan will probably have some opinions on that. curious to hear what those opinions are. But that being said, we also have no idea where Russ is going to go either. Would Russ go back to Seattle despite Pete Carroll not being there? Is Russ going to explore other options? Could he get more money somewhere that isn't Pittsburgh? What are the Steelers, though, going to do now that you have DK Metcalf and George Pickens? You have these wide receivers, but if you have nobody to throw to, it's just gonna dwindle, because wide receivers are only as great as the person throwing to them, in my opinion. I think the problem is I think George Pickens hasn't had the chance to shine, and most people will agree with this. George Pickens hasn't had the chance to shine most of the time because he doesn't have a quarterback throwing to him, and that was the whole complaint about Kenny Pickett. And now Kenny Pickett's not there. Russell Wilson threw to him, and he looked a little bit better, but having somebody else to open up the room for George Pickens to be able to make those slot plays like Juju did when AB was there. AB would run long, and then Juju would do slot or vice versa and whatnot. It was great. It was crazy. It was awesome. But now the problem is you don't have Big Ben, and you need a quarterback. The Steelers were looking at Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's not going to Pittsburgh. You have Justin Fields, who rejected your contract. You have Russell Wilson, who do you want to bring on for an extra couple of years? He's old. He did okay. But, I mean, the problem is who are you going to have throw to these guys? Now, the nice thing about DK Metcalf, the nice thing about Pickens is we do have them. Well, I don't think we have Pickens as long as we have Metcalf, but we do have Metcalf for a serious amount of time, like a serious amount of time. So we can figure it out if we need to. If we have to drop the young rookie quarterback and just throw him into the fire, at least somebody, I don't know who it would be. We'll just throw in Jackson Dart since everybody's talking about Jackson Dart. Let's say Jackson Dart goes and plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's throwing kind of like hit or miss. At least he has somebody to throw to, and he can at least build some sort of chemistry with DK over the next couple of years. I don't actually think that's going to happen, but maybe it could be beneficial. I don't see the Steelers doing that, though, because they don't really like to develop quarterbacks. I mean, we kind of saw that with Kenny Pickett. They didn't really do a whole lot of development there, and we don't really know how well Mike Tomlin can develop quarterbacks because we haven't really seen it. We've only seen Kenny Pickett, and it didn't go well, but we also don't really think that Kenny Pickett was even that top tier of an elite quarterback to be drafted in the first round and be your full-time starter going forward, but that's here nor there. The point being is that at the end of the day, although this extension is really cool, it's monumental, who is going to throw to DK Metcalf? I don't know. Now, at the end of the day, this video has nothing to do about quarterbacks. I mean, it kind of does, but at the end of the day, this video is about one thing and one thing only, and it is how monumental this DK Metcalf trade, extension, move, everything about it is. It is a huge, huge, huge deal. DK Metcalf is a second-round pick, 2019, out of Ole Miss. He has recorded 6,324 yards in his career, 438 receptions, and total 48 touchdowns. Just last year, he had 992 yards, 5 scores, as well as 66 catches. Now, the question will be, who is he going to have throwing to him? That is the big question. But until that question is answered, Steelers fans, you guys can be going to bed happy tonight, as I will be, because I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, knowing that we have 2 unbelievably talented wide receivers. And maybe our offense will be a little bit more competent than it's been the last couple of years, specifically in like the Matt Canada era. I'm hopeful with Arthur Smith still. I know some people don't like him, but I'm hopeful that maybe with a competent quarterback, and I'm not saying Justin Fields or Russell Wilson isn't competent, but having a competent quarterback, competent wide receivers, and having maybe a really good running back as well can be really beneficial for the Steelers down the road. And maybe we can actually beat out the 10-win seasons that we've been having and get 11. I think 11's pretty generous. I think we could probably get 11. But that being said, DK Metcalf is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. He is going to make waves as long as he has somebody throwing to him. And I just keep saying that because if we can get somebody to throw to him, it's going to be worth it. But like I said, the extension is worth a couple of years, so we've got time. But nonetheless, I've rambled long enough. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about this move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, I'd love to hear your perspective on it. I know there's been a lot of unfortunate concepts that have gone on in the Seattle Seahawks organization. And I give my condolences, but I want to hear what you think about getting that second-round pick and what you hope to accomplish with getting that second-round pick and moving on from DK Metcalf. I also would love to hear anybody's opinion on this concept, which I didn't talk about in the video, but I would love to talk to you about it in the comments section, especially if you made it this far, because if you made it this far, dang, I can't believe you liked listening to me ramble this long. But if you did, tell me, do you think that George Pickens and DK Metcalf being on the same team is going to cause drama? Because we know that George Pickens and DK Metcalf can both have a little bit of drama tendencies, but do you think that having them both on the same team is going to help, or do you think it's going to worsen team morale? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments section below, and if you don't have thoughts on that, well, I'd love to just hear your thoughts on the move in general. But that being said, if you enjoyed the episode, well, it's not really an episode, it's more of a video, but if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. We post pretty regularly. Josh, who runs the whole operation, ends up posting a lot more than I do, but I figured since this is Pittsburgh Steelers news, this is a pretty big deal, and I'm pretty excited about it. I would send you all a little video and send you guys a video telling you how excited I am and what to hopefully expect from this. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, and oh, my monitor turned off. But if yeah, that ruined my train of thought. But that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Here we go, Steelers. Yeah.